those pictures, man, those pictures of the hostages
Yeah.
released by Hamas. I don't know about you, but they're just stuck in my head.
Oh, absolutely. Just awful.
They're just so frail,
Yeah.
like gaunt. And I remember Trump even said that they reminded him of Holocaust survivors.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's hard to disagree, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you think, like, remember those 18 that were released earlier?
Mm-hmm.
They looked, they weren't doing great, but they weren't like this.
No, a very noticeable difference for sure.
So what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, what does this tell us about, the whole hostage situation? Has this deal actually working out? What are we looking at?
Well, it's definitely disturbing to see the difference in their conditions.
Right.
These three men, Ohad Ben-Ami, Eliyahu Sharabi, or Levy, they were all captured back on October 7th during that initial Hamas attack.
Right.
Ben-Ami and Sharabi were taken from the Be'eri Kibbutz, and Levy was taken from the Nova Music Festival.
Right.
And it's clear that, months in captivity, and we don't know what kind of conditions they were held in, but they've taken a really devastating toll on their well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. And you start to think about not just the physical stuff, but the mental impact of all this.
Of course, yeah.
That's got to be massive. But I guess before we start digging into the why they look so different, maybe we should just lay it out for everyone listening.
Yeah, good idea.
We got a ceasefire?
Yes.
A prisoner exchange? What are we working with here?
Right. So the ceasefire agreement that was reached on January 15th, that was really supposed to be okay, halt the violence, let's start negotiating. And a key part of that is the prisoner exchange, right? Where Israel is agreeing to release Palestinian prisoners in phases. And in return, Hamas is releasing the hostages they've been holding.
And to be clear to people listening, we're not talking about shoplifters here. These are people who have been convicted of some serious stuff.
Yes.
Including, terrorism against Israel.
Yes, a lot of them are.
So the first group, 183 of them, got released January 19th. And now we have this latest exchange. 3 hostages for, was it another 183 Palestinian prisoners?
Another 183, yeah.
So it's a big trade.
It is.
And it makes you wonder, because even those Palestinian prisoners who were released, I was reading reports that they were exhausted, just wiped.
Yeah.
So then you start thinking about the conditions on both sides.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes you question.
Hamas-controlled territory, but then also within the Israeli prison system.
Yeah.
And I know some people are just going to say, oh, this is Hamas, they're mistreating these guys.
Right.
But is it that simple? Is that the only...
Well, you have to think about it. There's other things that could be playing a role here, right? Yeah, what else?
What were these hostages' health conditions like before they were captured? Some people might just be more susceptible to stress and the physical and psychological toll of being held captive, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have to consider, just logistically, how hard is it to get food, water, medical care into a war zone like Gaza? It's just chaos there.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, could this be a strategy by Hamas? Yeah, and they're showing these guys suffering to try and pressure Israel.
Well, it's definitely possible. This is a huge win for Hamas, releasing all these prisoners.
Right.
So maybe they're using the hostage situation to further their agenda,
Yeah. And then you throw on top of all of this Trump's proposal to buy the Gaza Strip.
Things are getting really interesting, right? He's like, whoa, hold on. What, what's going on here?
Basically, his idea is to relocate the Palestinians from Gaza. Maybe with the help of other countries.
Right.
And then, try to rebuild the whole area.
Rebuild the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's controversial, to say the least.
It's definitely causing a lot of controversy. People are really pushing back against it. The Gaza residents themselves, Arab League, leaders of Egypt and Jordan, everyone's saying, no way.
How?
Yeah, it brings up so many questions. Can you really just move a whole population?
Right.
Is that even ethical?
Right.
What about the logistics of it?
Yeah.
And then what does it mean for the entire region?
Right.
How does that impact the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which is...
It's already a mess.
Already so complicated as it is.
Right. And I've even heard some people say it's ethnic cleansing. No matter how you try to dress it up.
Right.
That's what it is. But it's so different from what we were just talking about.
Right.
Like the ceasefire prisoner exchange, and then you've got Trump over here like,
right.
all right, chuck all that, let's try something totally crazy.
Exactly, yeah. It does feel like a shift in U.S. policy. It's more aggressive. I don't know if I'd say reckless.
Right.
But definitely a more forceful way to try to fix things.
Forceful, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is he serious?
I don't know, I guess.
Or is this just...
It's a political play. Who knows?
Yeah. But, you know, it does make you think with these hostages.
Yeah.
And the way they look. Like, could this be the thing that changes everything? You know, those images are powerful.
They are.
Could that change public opinion in Israel? Could it, you know, like change how the negotiations go in the future?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But something to think about, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, as this whole thing keeps unfolding. It's crazy.
It is.